So
You know,
which class are you in here?
me?
Like,
Good
how does Nigeria
question.
have six classes?
You said what? Say that again. And
I said, how does Nigeria have 6 classes?
it's because we have what we call the lower middle class.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's because we have the lower middle class. You don't find that defined in the US. But phone is ringing somewhere. But did you hear me, Han? I replied you. And
Yes,
you're
I
hearing me,
did.
right?
Yes,
You
I
heard
did.
me. All right, great.
Yes.
All right. So you have what you call the lower middle class in Nigeria. You don't. That's not defined in the US based on what is documented. But in Nigeria, you have people who are in the middle class, but cannot necessarily do everything the middle class is expected to do. They are limited. And that is a growing class with our government, exchange rate. It's all about what people can afford at the end of the day, where they live, all of that. Yeah. So Chidi was asking where I belong to in this class. Well, I'm educated. I'm a middle class. That's a given. I am not a lower middle class for sure. So I'm in number 2. I'm trying to go to number 1, but I'm not yet in number 1. I'm in number 2 for sure. Chidi, am I right or wrong?
You're absolutely right. I just wanted to confirm that.
These are classifications, and it could be good, it could be bad. For some people, they just feel, oh, I'm poor. Some people feel that they cannot attain to 1, 2, 3 for whatever reason. The classifications that is done is not done to limit people, but rather to cause people to seek to grow, right? But some people see it as, oh, I'm dumb. Some people feel that because you are not born into a Dangote family, a Dan Tata family, then you cannot be rich. I mean, those are limiting thoughts. Those are limiting mindsets, right? And that same thing we had in America, right? With the blacks, all of them, and today, you still have it today. The other day, I was with my daughter. We went for dinner. At a Chinese restaurant, and I was just talking to her about why she thinks some people are homeless. People are stuck in some class because they are not willing to push. They feel condemned. It's a mindset thing. Money is a mindset. It's not how much money you have. It's just like I was chatting with one of my university classmates this morning. He was making some comments that have no basis to it. He was saying that whether you become rich or poor is a matter of what you make. That's not true, right? It's not what you make that makes you rich or poor, right? It's what you do with what you make that makes you rich or poor, right? I mean, you can get any amount, get $1 billion a month. If you spend all the $1 billion a month, you're a poor person, right? It's what you do. It's first of all, you're not spending everything that you make, and what you do with what you keep. That is what makes you rich or poor, right? We have 2 athletes that recently became billionaires in the last 2 weeks, right? LeBron James and Tiger Woods, right? They make money, but it's not necessarily that they make more money than every other athlete. I mean, Tiger Woods has fallen from reckoning due to his incident and all of that stuff. So it's not the most paid, but he invests his money such a way that the returns is what made him to qualify to become a billionaire this last week. 2 weeks ago, LeBron James also is not necessarily, he's not the most paid athlete, but he's become a billionaire, right? There are just 3 of them, that become billionaires as athletes, right? Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and now Tiger Woods. It's what you do with it. It's the investment that you go into. If you spend everything that you make, you're not going to move away. from whichever category you find yourself. It's all about having a financial plan. It's all about, this morning also someone was asking me that how do you grow in life? How do you become rich? And I said, hey, number one thing is you must have a dream. Have a dream. Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? Like we say, where do you want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years? When you die, what do you want to die as? Have a dream. Then have goals tied to your dream. Then begin to do something about it today. But nobody's going to become rich by accident. People become poor by accident, but nobody becomes rich by accident. So this classification is not to limit anybody. It's just to say that you can aspire for more. I am at 2 today. I'm aspiring to be number 1, right? All my investments, all that I do is to become number 1. And I'm going to be number 1 before I die. Long before I die, sir. Long before I retire, I'll be number 1, right? That's my target. That's my goal, right? And it's possible, right? Any question?
Okay, so Uncle, I have a question. For me, I feel like, okay, like Nigeria, you said, just clarify, you said Nigeria, they have lower middle class and upper middle class, right? But
Yes.
what about those that, I feel like Nigeria is like a struggling society where everybody's struggling, right?
Everywhere,
so,
everybody's struggling in the US also. People struggle everywhere.
We're all struggling. Everybody, we're all struggling, right?
Yes.
But I don't like the basic necessity. I think that's the difference. Basic necessity due to our government is what Nigeria lacks.
Yes.
I think the basic necessity, I think,
Yes.
And job. I mean, America, people are homeless, like you said, because I was just talking, in fact, my husband and I were just discussing this yesterday about, this homeless people. It's like, why can anyone be homeless in America? And you're right. Some people I work in the hospital, and some people just want to be homeless. They're like, no, they just want to be homeless.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a lot of opportunity, and people fall from grace. People make mistakes,
grace to grass, yes,
right, and that's
absolutely
what people are. Is that they cannot find themselves getting up and doing something better. They rather just be homeless and run around shelters, and so I don't know.
It's like, a trap.
Yeah,
it's a trap because once you're looking for an alibi, somebody to support your excuse, you can never become rich. Right? Just like I was sharing with my daughter, people are trapped. People think that this is where I am, this is where I will always be, I cannot be better. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Once that's a prophecy, you tell yourself, everything around you will justify it. Because everything that around you have yes. Whatever you say, they are saying yes, amen. And they will bring it to pass. So people are trapped in the social system because once they start collecting social money, right, they're not paying tax, but as long as they are collecting socials, right? If they do any job at all, they get out of that bracket and get into a tax-paying bracket. And that reduces their income in their mind. So they rather would collect social and not do any job at all, so they won't pay tax. Because they cannot see beyond that. They see tax as a liability. So they are trapped in that social thing. They can't see beyond that. They can't see that they can make a whole lot such that when they pay tax, it will not affect their spending power. All they're after is tax is taking my money away. Let me do everything so that I won't pay tax. So they are trapped in that sector. Right? So for as long as you're looking at things from a negative standpoint, you can't grow.